Hello everyone, it is Voodoo 51292 here, and I would like to welcome you all to a very special video that I have created to commemorate my 3-year channel anniversary. That's right, I've been doing this YouTube thing now for 3 complete years. It certainly seems like it hasn't been that long, but it has, and let me tell you, there has been a number of happenings, occurrences, big events over the past 3 years that I've been doing YouTube. Really important, influential events that have shaped and molded my channel into what it's ultimately become, and experiences that have, impacted me and my life in a way that I will never forget. And so I really wanted to do something pretty special for my 3-year anniversary. I feel it's a pretty big milestone. So I wanted to make a special video for you guys, taking a look at what I feel to be my top 10 most important or influential moments or events that have occurred on my YouTube channel in the past 3 years since 2011. So in this video we're going to be taking a look at these 10 events that I have picked out and listed from number 10 to number 1 in the most, I guess, logical way I could think to do it. And again, these could really be anything from, special events, individual playthroughs, certain, vacations that I took. Really, it could be anything that was influential or was important enough on my YouTube channel to kind of shape it into what it's been today. Also, another note, you're going to be hearing some background music, I should say, as well as be looking at video clips from several of the things I'm talking about. If I do get, third-party claims against me for the background music and I can't monetize the video, that's fine with me. It really doesn't bother me. I'd rather, do this for fun anyway than do it for money. But I will be listing in the description of this video the music and the tracks that I'm using as my background, as well as links to some of the videos and playlists that I'll be talking about in this video, in case you're interested to go check them out once you've watched the whole video. Alright, so without doing too much rambling, because nobody likes to listen to that, let's go ahead and jump into my list of what I feel to be the top 10 most important or influential moments on my YouTube channel since 2011. So here we go. The number 10 most important YouTube moment for me since 2011 is the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer videos. Alright, so you might be asking yourself, why is a series of multiplayer videos cracking your top 10 list? And I can say it's because this was a set of videos that really laid the groundwork for ultimately what my channel became. These videos were the first ever gameplay, or my first ever attempt at recording gameplay and uploading it to YouTube. For those of you who don't know, this channel was originally set up for me back in 2011 to be a game review only channel. I was not going to do any gameplay until one night I just got the idea, hey, let me try taking some gameplay footage and seeing how it goes and uploading it to YouTube. Thus, I took some footage of a game that I was really heavily into playing at the time, which was the multiplayer for Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. And as you can see from the clips that are currently playing on the screen, the video quality was pretty awful. It was done with my old 480p Sony Handycam on a tripod. It was set way off center. The brightness was all kinds of messed up. At some point, couldn't really even see what was going on in the game. My commentary was interesting, to say the least. It was pretty awkward. It was the first time I had ever tried to actually do voiceover over, gameplay. So it was pretty awkward. And so even though the video quality wasn't that good, obviously it laid the groundwork for all future gameplay videos on my channel. It opened the door to something I never planned on doing. And being able to go back and look at those videos from 3 years ago and compare them to the videos that I do now, it's really kind of a sobering thing to see how different, I am now and how much better my videos are. And, it's kind of nostalgic to go back and watch the first ever gameplay videos I took and just to see what they were like. So it was a very important event. It opened the door for gameplay videos on my channel. And if you're interested to see what I was like when I very first started here on YouTube, be sure to go check those videos out. They're actually kind of funny because my commentary and such was so different. Alright, so that was number 10. So we're going to move on now. And my number 9 most important YouTube moment since 2011 is the Dead Space 2 playthrough. Alright, so once again we are going with some footage from my very, very early days of YouTube. This was the first ever full game playthrough that I ever did on my YouTube channel. And very important and influential because this was the very first full playthrough, which set the table for what would go on to become the core content of my channel, which is my Let's Plays and my playthrough videos. Something that originally when the channel started wasn't going to be part of my channel at all. And once again, I went from doing game reviews to videos of multiplayer, but then I had the idea, Dead Space 2 is coming out. I love Dead Space 1, and I was like, let me just try my hand at doing a full playthrough, and thus the Dead Space 2 playthrough was born. Now once again, the video quality during this whole playthrough was pretty bad. At that time I was living in a dorm for when I was a freshman in college, and so I had a roommate. I had my roommates from across the hall would come in randomly during the time I was recording and say all kinds of stuff, and I was going back and forth. I would basically go home every weekend to visit my family and my girlfriend, who still lived back home. So I was filming from 2 different locations. There was always somebody else in the room talking about something that had nothing to do with the game, and so once again the video quality wasn't very good. But as I mentioned, it was my first full game playthrough. It laid the table for what would ultimately become the core content of my channel. Dead Space 2 is a great game, still one of my favorite games that I've ever played to this date. And even though the quality is pretty bad, hey, I got it on camera, one of my favorite games of me playing it. And you know what? It was always going to be bad before it got good. You have to start somewhere, and it's going to start rough, but if you don't start, you can never get better and refine your abilities. And so Dead Space 2 was the start of what's become the staple of my channel, which is my Let's Plays. And because of that, it made number 9 on my list. Alright, so now we're going to move forward and take a look at my number 8 most important YouTube moment since 2011, which is the Destin 2011 vacation videos. So this one might seem kind of random to you as to why it's in my top 10, but let me explain. In 2011, I took a trip to Destin, Florida, to the beautiful beaches there with my girlfriend, a couple of my friends, and my parents. And this was the first vacation I had taken since starting my YouTube channel, and I was very much interested in showing my personal life and such on YouTube. I really had always strived for a personal touch to my channel, to let my viewers see the guy behind the camera, to see the guy, to know that I wasn't just some guy who did YouTube, but that I was a real person, and that I took vacations with my friends and had fun, and I really wanted to let you guys into that world. And so this vacation was the first step I took into giving you a look into who I was behind the scenes. And also it was important because this was the first time I had put people on video that I had been talking about a long time. I finally gave you guys faces to put with a name. So I showed my girlfriend on camera, my friends, Tyler and Dave, and these people I had always talked about and mentioned, but you had never really seen in person, as well as my parents. So for those of you who have joined me since 2011 and said, man, he talks about all his friends and his girlfriend, but I don't know what they look like because he's never showed them. Well, actually I did, if you go watch my videos from Destin 2011. And once again, as you'll see, which is a common thread with this countdown, that series of videos also laid some more groundwork for future vacation videos that I would eventually take and share with you guys, including a return trip to Destin in 2012, and most recently when I went out to Los Angeles to visit with my friend Brandon, and I took all kinds of vacation vlogs and footage from out there. So, important video. It was the entryway basically into showing you guys my personal side behind the camera, to let you guys kind of into my life that way in a personal setting, and to show some of the people I had talked about on camera for the first time. So that's why it is number 8 on my list. Alright, so we are going to continue counting down now, and we are going to be taking a look at the number 7 most important YouTube moment for me since 2011, which is the Pokemon craze of the summer of 2012. Alright, so for those of you who were with me in the summer of 2012, you know what I'm talking about, and for those who weren't with me, I'm about to tell you. So, in the summer of 2012, I got back heavily into something that I was very much interested in when I was a small kid. And if you were a kid born in the early 90s like I was, you were probably a part of this craze as well, the Pokemon card phenomenon. Everybody collected them, everybody talked about them. It was a huge deal back in the early 90s, and I was, or I should say really mid to late 90s. And I was very much a part of it. I loved the cards. I really didn't play the game ever, and I watched the anime really on occasion. What I was interested in was collecting the cards. I just loved that feeling of going to the store, getting a brand new freshly sealed pack of cards, and we're talking the originals, the base sets, the jungle, the fossil, getting those sealed packs. I used to get them for Christmas all the time, and there was just nothing quite like opening up that pack and rifling through the cards and that excitement of, man, did I get that rare holographic card that I've been looking for my collection? And man, nothing beat that feeling when you open that pack and found out that you did get a rare card or something you'd been looking for, and you'd go to school the next day and brag to your friends, man, I got this amazing card in the pack last night, I put it in my binder, it looks great, and it was just awesome. So for some reason, back in the summer of 2012, I was talking to some of my friends about the Pokemon cards, and just randomly we said, hey, let's just go get a pack or two of the newer Pokemon cards and just check them out. And as soon as I did that, man, I was hooked right back into it. I felt like a kid again. That same anticipation and excitement returned. And so for the summer of 2012, I went on a spree of buying card packs to open. I actually bought and opened a few booster boxes, which are these factory boxes. Used to be the boxes full of packs that they would send to the stores that they'd put up on display for people to grab packs out of. I would buy the whole box. I did a few openings of those boxes on camera. I had a series called Pokemon Friday where I'd go to the store and I would buy different packs and collectible tins and such to open on camera. I ordered a bunch of single cards off of eBay and Amazon to complete some of my original collections, and I would show them off. And funny enough, the real reason that it was a big important moment for me is that the current most viewed video on my entire channel came from that summer, and it was a video where I basically just showed people my Pokemon card collection from back in the day. I took you through my binder and showed you all the cards I had collected, and for some reason that video has close to 45,000 views right now, and it remains the most viewed video on my channel. And yeah, so I would say that the summer that generated the most viewed video on my entire channel out of the couple thousand that I have is a pretty important moment. And unfortunately for all the Pokemon fans that came over and subscribed to my channel after 2012 when I stopped working and went back to school, I no longer had that influx of money coming in. I couldn't really afford the Pokemon cards anymore, and I eventually lost interest back down to not really caring too much about it, which I'm sure disappointed the Pokemon fans that had come over and subscribed. But nonetheless, the summer of 2012 was the Pokemon craze on my channel. It was definitely important, and that's why it made my list. So we're going to continue now with the countdown. So, we looked at numbers 10 through 7, and the next entry on the list is the number 6 most important YouTube moment for myself since 2011. And coming in at number 6 is Voodoos Brew, the E3 2012 episode. Now, I really picked the specific video, the specific episode of Voodoos Brew because it basically is there substituting for the entire Voodoos Brew series as a whole. But I picked this particular video because to this day it remains the most viewed video of the entire Voodoos Brew series. I believe it has close to somewhere around 450 views, maybe a little bit more than that. And not only was it the most viewed video of the entire series, but I can think back and remember it was probably the most fun episode to record, because what it was me and Brandon, who do the podcast, sitting down and just talking for over 2 hours, going through all of the major press conferences that happened at E3 2012, going step by step through these press conferences and showing our reactions to all the announcements that were made at E3. And it was really fun to just sit there with one of my good friends and talk about one of the things we loved the most, which was gaming. And it was cool to get that excitement. You had that anticipation of all the things that they had announced, and you were looking forward to all these games and everything. And it was a really cool episode. It was really fun to do, and people really, really enjoyed listening to us go through E3 and detail it. Hence why it has the most views of any of the Voodoos Brews. And I really think that episode kind of is the epitome of what the podcast is. And we aspire to, continue Voodoos Brew and to get up to those standards on a consistent basis. So that's why I picked that specific episode of Voodoos Brew to make number 6 on the countdown. So I'm going to take a quick sip of drink to wet my mouth. And with that, feeling refreshed, we will move on now to the top 5. So, without further ado, here we go. The number 5 most important moment for me on YouTube since 2011 was the Dead Island playthrough. Alright, so Dead Island was a game that came out in 2011. It was a pretty unique game at the time when it came out. It was basically an open world zombie RPG style game. But what was really the coolest thing about it was the co-op factor. It had 4-player co-op, and so this came out a couple of months after Brandon and I first met and were starting to form our friendship, and so we decided to do a full co-op playthrough of Dead Island. And this was our first co-op playthrough of a game, and we played it from start to finish, 90 some odd parts. We had to put it on hold a couple of months because I was going through some personal issues, but we did finish it, and I still to this day believe that this is one of the most overlooked and underrated things I have ever recorded and put on my YouTube channel. And I say that because the playthrough barely got any views at all. Some of the videos never even got a view. And I think that that's really a shame, because I still feel to this day that was one of the funniest, most entertaining playthroughs I have ever done. Just the hilarious stuff that was going on. It was a very buggy and glitchy game, and it just led to some hilarious moments with he and I, with cars flying through the air and zombies fusing in walls. It was a really funny playthrough, and it all culminated toward the end of the playthrough where he and I discovered that we could actually kill each other by blowing up explosives and fire hydrants next to each other. So really toward the end of the playthrough, it just became he and I trying to set each other up in hilarious scenarios where we would be standing next to these explosives, and then we would shoot them and blow each other up. And it was absolutely hilarious. We had so much fun playing that game, and I think people really underestimated it and never really gave it a fair shake. So if you are somebody who never did go check out the Dead Island playthrough, I would ask that you at least go give it a look and check it out. You might find it really, really entertaining to you. I certainly thought it was entertaining, and you may find that it's some of your favorite content on my channel, because I think it was absolutely hilarious. So go check it out, see what you think. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but I tend to think it got overlooked, and I think that's a mistake, because I think it was hilarious and really entertaining. And obviously it also laid the groundwork for all co-op playthroughs that I would do with Brandon. It also really helped to further he and I's relationship. We really became even closer friends after doing that playthrough because of how much fun we had, and basically solidified the fact that he was going to be doing content with me on YouTube for years to come because of how much fun we had and how well the playthrough went. So that's why it cracked my top 5 as my number 5 moment. So we're going to move on from there, guys, and we're going to take a look at the number 4 most important moment for my channel here on YouTube since 2011, which is Black Ops Multiplayer. Alright, so for some of my older fans, this is one you probably expected to be in the playlist, or not the playlist, but the countdown at some point. So here it is, making its appearance at number 4. So why was Black Ops Multiplayer such an important occurrence on my YouTube channel? This game was a game that I put up footage of on and off for 2 years, from 2011 through 2012. I have more footage up of Black Ops Multiplayer on my YouTube channel than of any other game. And the reason for it was that, what you have to understand is that Black Ops was my first experience with Call of Duty, which is really kind of weird because most people's first experience was with one of the first 2 Modern Warfares. So just imagine, think back to when the first time you played Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2 and how addicted you got to that game and just played it and played it and played it constantly. Well, that was me with Black Ops. I had never played Call of Duty before. I got the game and was instantly hooked and addicted because it was an addicting multiplayer. I loved the leveling up system. It was so much fun to unlock the guns, and I really had a great time with that game. And certainly I had a history with the game. I made several videos talking about how I didn't like the game. It was a poorly made game. It was laggy. It was buggy. People played it in a way I didn't like, which was really all true. But still, at the end of the day, despite all my complaining about the game and all my moaning about it, I still really enjoyed playing the game, even though it made me really angry at times. It was just fun to play. It was addicting. I played it all the time with my friends. I did several special events with Black Ops Multiplayer over the course of those 2 years. I actually wound up doing an entire week where I called Black Ops Week during a time that there was no new releases to play, where for 4 days during one particular week I played just Call of Duty Black Ops. I had almost 100 matches that I've just played that week and uploaded to YouTube. So it led to a lot of hilarious moments. And again, this was the game that Brandon and I met over. He messaged me to play some Black Ops Multiplayer, and we did it, and that's how our friendship kicked off. So Black Ops was a huge part of my channel, especially the first 2 years. Really had a lot of fun playing it, uploaded a ton of videos for it, and just really enjoyed it. I still look back as all the problems that the game had, I still look back with fond memories on Black Ops, and I'm still disappointed that no Call of Duty that's been released since Black Ops 1 has ever captured me like that game did. So, big part of my channel, that's why it made number 4 on my list. Alright guys, so now we're really getting into the home stretch here. We're going to be taking a look at the top 3 moments that I feel were the most important on my channel in the past 3 years. So without further ado, let's begin. The number 3 most important moment for my channel here on YouTube since 2011 is my switch to using direct capture. So, back in March of 2013, almost a year ago if you can believe it, I certainly can't, but back in March of 2013, I learned through Brandon of the Elgato Game Capture HD. Up until that point, from 2011, I had been using a video camera to record my TV and record my game footage. And it was always my impression that direct capture took a vast knowledge of technical skills, of expensive equipment, expensive wires, video editing, and a knowledge and savvy of all this kind of stuff, which I certainly never had and was not interested in doing all that just to make my videos. The camera, although there were problems with it, was fine for me at the time. Then I learned about the Elgato, and I learned about how easy it was to use, how live commentary was integrated through the Elgato software, and my entire YouTube system changed forever. I laid down the $150, bought the Elgato, and it was one of, if not the best decision I have ever made on my YouTube channel. I instantly went from all the frustrations and hassles of a camera to the ease and amazing video quality of direct capture. The live commentary could be integrated right into the video, no editing required, and the footage was amazing. And no longer did I have to tote around a camera and a tripod with me whenever I move locations to film. Never again did I have to worry about charging batteries or stopping in the middle of recording to empty a full memory card onto my computer. Never had to worry about lining up the shot, worrying about the brightness of the focus. Never had to worry about it again. I just simply plugged the USB cable into my computer and I had brilliant direct capture footage. And since then, I have had so much more fun taking video footage, recording it. I have been able to get through games faster and of course bring you much better quality than I ever could with a video camera. It was the best decision that I've ever made in terms of how I record, and it has brought me much ease of mind and much happiness ever since the day I decided to make the switch. I'm so glad I did it. Definitely a big moment, definitely a top 3 moment for me on YouTube, and that's why it came in at number 3. Alright, so we're down to our final 2, so we're going to look at the runner-up now. The number 2 most important moment for me on my YouTube channel since 2011 is the DSP drama. Alright, so this is one that everybody probably anticipated was gonna make the list. It did make the list at number 2. It is pretty high up there, because whether or not you hated me for it or loved me for it, there is no denying the impact and the importance that this whole situation had on my YouTube channel. It certainly has changed my YouTube channel forever. For the good or the bad, who knows, but it's changed it, that's for sure. So once again, DSP, Darkside Phil, the inspiration for my channel, a guy that I idolized and absolutely loved through 2011 to 2012. I won't go through the whole story again, but basically I really learned and found out what kind of guy this guy truly is, and it upset me because it was someone I had defended publicly, I had given money to, and it really made me angry. And so through the course of time, I wound up making a video that was called Why I Unsubscribed from DSP Gaming. And that video, through extreme randomness, through some YouTube algorithm or whatever the case, I still don't know to this day the reasons for it, but that video went absolutely viral in the DSP community. To this date, it is my second most viewed video ever, with over 43,000 views, and it is the first video that comes up when you search DSP Gaming. And so I received all kinds of attention for this video, good and bad. My subscribers basically doubled from 400 to around the 800 mark that it is now. It definitely had a huge impact and influence. There were several other videos down the line that I made addressing DSP, all which got over 1,000 views, some several thousand views, and really solidified me as a presence on YouTube. I basically got unofficially inducted into the Kojima World Order, or the KWO community of DSP critics, which at first I was afraid of. I didn't want to be part of a hate community, but now I kind of just embrace it. It is what it is. I made the decision to call DSP out, and so in essence I guess that makes me part of the KWO, an organization of people like me who have dared to speak up against DSP and take on his massive army of fanboys. So I guess I do kind of find solidarity in unofficially belonging to this organization. So definitely a huge impact for me. Again, whether or not you hated me for it or you loved me for it, you cannot deny how important and how influential it was and continues to be on my YouTube channel. The number of viewers I have, the number of subscribers I have, which really just happened because this video accidentally went viral. And the rest, as they say, is history. So the DSP situation, the DSP drama, to me was the number 2 most important occurrence on my YouTube channel. Alright guys, this is the big one. You've patiently sat here and listened to me ramble about 9 other moments that I found important on my YouTube channel since 2011. But now, here comes the number 1 most important. I bet a few of you thought I was going to put the DSP situation at number 1, but no, I didn't. So here it is, without further ado, the number 1 most important occurrence on my YouTube channel since 2011 is my friendship with Brandon. Alright, insert all of your jokes here. I know I'm probably going to get made fun of a little bit because this will probably sound sappy, but leave your jokes, it doesn't bother me. Just hear me out. I find it hard to put anything on this list above the formation of a really good, what I feel is going to be a lifelong friendship. if you can form that kind of a relationship or a friendship with someone that you never knew and would have never met had you not opened your YouTube account, I don't see how you can put anything above that. Listen, I'm a guy who, I don't have a cornucopia of friends, okay? I'm not one of these social butterflies that is friends with everybody. I'm somebody that has a very select number of friends, but the friends that I do have are extremely close to me, and I don't really have like a best friend, because really all of my friends are my best friends, because I only have a few. And after a few years of knowing this guy, Brandon, I consider him to be, one of my close best friends. And to be completely honest with everybody, out of all of my friends, and I love all my friends very dearly, I'm glad I have every single one of them. To be quite frank with you, Brandon is the one that I have the most in common with, simply because we are very interested in many of the exact same things, like video games. And yes, some of my other friends are into video games, but probably not as much as Brandon and I are into the video game community. And to top it all off, Brandon is the only one of my friends that is anywhere close to being interested or invested in the YouTube Let's Play community. He and I are both, very invested in it. Obviously, I have a channel. He's had channels in the past. He stays up to date with me and my channel, and basically the community as a whole. He was a former DSP fan as well. So, really, he and I, we have very similar senses of humor. We're interested in the same things, and I would say that I spend about as much time hanging out with Brandon over Skype that I do with, my friends here locally. And it went from some random guy contacting me about Black Ops multiplayer, which we almost didn't even play, because after he sent me the message, he vanished for a couple of weeks, and I thought that he had just gone away. We wound up playing it, and it just blossomed into a very, very close friendship. And ultimately, like I said, it went from some guy contacting me over the internet to play multiplayer to 2 years later, I'm standing next to this guy shoulder to shoulder on Hollywood Boulevard in front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater. I mean, it seems almost surreal, a script, too perfect for Hollywood, that a friendship like that could form out of just a random occurrence like that. But it happened, and that's one of the real reasons why this YouTube channel continues to grow. I love it so much, is because things like that can happen, and you never know who you'll meet or what situation you'll find yourself in next. So definitely my friendship and relationship with Brandon, which is probably going to be a lifelong friendship. And I was even thinking about this the other day, man, when I get married, I'm probably going to send an invitation to this guy to come down to New Orleans and be a groomsman in my wedding, because that's how good of friends we are, I feel. And it's been awesome. And so again, anytime you have that good of a friendship with somebody that you can develop just through this YouTube channel, I don't see how you can put anything above that, especially a situation like the DSP situation, which was mainly negative. You can't put that above an absolute amazing positive thing to come out of this YouTube channel like that friendship. So that's why that friendship is the number one most important influential occurrence that's happened to me on YouTube since 2011. Whew! Alright guys, well thank you very much. That was a very long-winded, drawn-out video, but I certainly hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making the video. It was really awesome and fun for me to go back and look at all the good things that has happened to me over the past 3 years on YouTube, and to put this compilation together. Maybe I even pique somebody's interest to go check out some of my older content that you really never thought about, just because I talked about it in this video. Maybe you will go back and watch my original Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer videos just to get a kick of how bad I was in the beginning. Or maybe you'll go check out the Destin videos to see one of my early vacations that I took on this channel. Or maybe you'll go check out the Dead Island playthrough that hardly anybody checked out, and you may really like it. Either way, I'm just glad that you watched this video. I'm glad that I've been able to do this for 3 years on YouTube. I feel very privileged. Once again, I will leave some information in the description of this video telling you about some of the background songs that I used to make this video, as well as leaving some links to some videos and playlists that I talked about in this top 10. So if you're interested in checking anything out, it's probably in the link below, and you can go check out some of the videos and stuff that I talked about. So certainly, guys, really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too. The next step is I want to hear from you guys. I want to know from you if you agree with my top 10 list, if you thought that there was a moment that should have been included in this list in place of something else that wasn't, or if you feel that this is the right top 10 but they're not in the right order, that something's more important than something else. I want to know that because I'm interested and curious as to what you guys think were my top moments over the past 3 years. Or maybe you completely agree with my list and the rankings. So however you feel or whatever you think, leave it in the comments below because I really want to hear from you guys. It interests me greatly. This was just the list that I put together. So once again, thank you guys very much. I hope to continue to do this for many successful years to come. I'm Voodoo51292, and as always, who do you voodoo?